last thing I heard, last thing I got you recorded saying is, let's continue on here. Alright, those are my top 5 herbs.
Okay.
Let's continue on here. Okay, so
So start there.
yeah, and it said let's continue on here, and that's when I hit, okay, let me go ahead and close. Let's start here. So, okay, file new, and I am recording. Now, am I getting music? I don't see anything. Come on, y'all, why are you messing up all of a sudden? Let's record. Okay, there we go. The 2 tracks. Stop it. Alright, new file. Record. Okay.
Alright, I'm done trying.
Why do they keep freezing up every time I do this?
Okay, the song's almost over. I'm gonna play.
Alright, I'm good. I'm recording.
You good?
Yep. Can't do nothing else but record. Alright.
Alright, we are back. Sorry about that little technical difficulty. Hope you all can hear me good out there. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so what I was saying was that people are trying to change their diet and trying to get healthy and trying to detox and trying to, eat more fruits and vegetables. They are doing it. But there's another step to that. And we all have to work on this. And it's called food combining. Which foods go together and which do not. In order to get the most out of the food, you want to make sure that you are eating it at the right time. It's all about timing, what you eat first, what you eat next. It's all about what you combine, of course. So that's important because you want your system to be always in balance. You don't want your system to be ready to take on fats and carbohydrates and things like that, but you're putting in fruits and water and other things. So it's about balance, really, and it's about timing. And I think that's something that we need to learn along with what is healthy. So everything, out there is eat more blueberries, eat more, drink wine, 1 cup of wine a night or something. That's all great, but, when do you do it? When do you drink? When do you eat? That's important also to understand, to learn. So we're going to talk about that really quickly because it's pretty basic. I'm going to read directly from Queen Afua's book. This is the Heal Thyself for Health and Longevity. Oh, I'm on camera. I can put it up. This is Queen Afua's book, Heal Thyself for Health and Longevity. So if you have this book, you can follow along, and it is on page, I know she has a page number, page 100. She talks about food combining. Okay, so let's just read a little bit from her book. Each food group requires a different digestive juice. If you bring two different juices together, the digestive system becomes impacted and shuts down or digests food incompletely. Yes. The result of poor digestion leads to bloatedness, gas, constipation, and distended abdomen. Now, if you read on Facebook for this event page, I put a note up there saying that if you are eating right, doing everything right, exercising, but you still have gas and constipation and bloating and things like that with your digestive system, it may be because you're not combining your food properly. I am the probably poster child for for that, because I eat everything pretty much 90% good, but I still have gas. Basically, that's the only thing I deal with is gas. Is a physiological process. Thank you. Some people don't like that word, I guess. But anyway, so here it is. Don't combine the following. Eating and drinking do not combine. Okay, so that is the main thing that we do a lot at the dinner table. We eat and drink, but they do not combine. Basically, you need to drink after you eat, or at least 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after. I think some people also say 1 hour before, 30 minutes after, things like that. But try to space it out at least. Fruits and vegetables do not combine. Okay, do not put strawberries on your salad or apples on your salad. Proteins and starches do not combine. Now, some people get confused on what a protein is, what is a starch. Proteins are basically going to come from your meats, if you eat meat, or it's going to come from legumes if you don't eat meat, which is like lentils and split peas and things like that. Though that's where you get a lot of protein. Nuts. Starches are things like bread. Rice is basically starch. Potatoes are starch. So meat and potatoes do not combine at all. Okay, so do combine these in brown rice or tabbouleh. Tabbouleh is like a Italian rice mixture. Proteins and vegetables combine well with beans and nuts and seeds or vegetables of any kind. So you can eat, if you eat meat, you can eat meat with your salad, but make sure you don't put any, I don't know, what you would put in the rice.
Yeah.
I guess, or potatoes, yeah. Keep that separate. Melon are to be eaten alone, completely alone. Don't put honeydew with anything. Cantaloupe, watermelon, honeydew melon, all that can just be eaten alone. It's too high in water to be digested properly with other foods. You want to eat that first. So in your fruit salad, if you're getting a fruit salad at a restaurant or something, pick out the melon, eat that first, wait 15-30 minutes, and then eat the rest of the salad. I know it sounds crazy, but you'll get the best benefit from it. You're not, and yeah, okay. Something else just crossed my mind. Mine going too fast from my mouth. Citrus is also to be eaten alone. Oranges, pineapples, grapefruits. Just think how juicy and how much water these foods have in them. They're very, very, very juicy. So you want to have those water type foods to be eaten first, just like you would with drinking first or drinking last. Subacid fruits are to be eaten alone as well. So apples, pears, plums, berries, they should also be eaten alone. Okay? And real quick here, now our society is definitely not set up for this kind of practice. If you work a 9 to 5 and you have a 30-minute lunch or even an hour lunch, it is very hard to space your food out and eat, eat properly, basically, unless you're just eating a salad with just vegetables in it. So we got to kind of think about that. We got to work around that. I don't have expert advice on how to do that, but get out of the society. Basically, that's the only advice that I can give. I'm working on it every day. Subacid. Oh, sorry, I already said that. Ginger. You can combine ginger with a lot of different things. Ginger is very flexible, she says. Ginger combines with fruits and vegetables because it's basically an herb that is good for your digestion. It will help you digest both fruits and vegetables, and it tastes great. Okay. All right. So that is the combination. It is really simple. Now there's books about how to combine foods. There's all these different charts. Even on the Facebook page that I posted, there was a chart there on how to combine what to put in with this other food, and there's circle graphs and all this stuff. Basically, just use common sense. Things that have a high amount of water, keep those separate. That's the first step you can do. But also, I was thinking about. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. But basically, it's not that hard. Oh, yes. There's a website called D Health Herbs. D as in dog. I think it's D Health or D Herbs. Maybe it's just D Herbs. .com. They have an entire chart there that tells you what foods are acidic and which foods are alkaline. Also, which time of year to eat certain foods, because I assume they're more in season. So it's a really informative chart there. You can print it out as a PDF. But they also tell you which foods to combine and which not, and it gives you a very detailed list. So not just vegetables. They'll explain, chard, broccoli, cauliflower, and all this stuff. So check them out if you want more information. All right, so we are about 25 minutes in. So let's take the next 5 or 10 minutes to talk about food colors. Now, most of this information comes from Lisa Ganora, and she is a herbalist and I believe also a chemist, because she has a book about phytochemistry, which is basically plant chemistry. And I listened to her lecture, and I'm going to give you some information from her lecture, and I thought it was just so good. Of course, she's coming from a Western standpoint and a whitewash standpoint, because she doesn't put a lot of the spiritual stuff in her presentation. So, but we're just going to give it to you like it is, and then I'm sure, as spiritual people as we are, we will also put that in as well, because I was already thinking about things while I was listening to her lecture, and also thinking about how our society is built in a manner that really harms us in our ability to understand things like this, or it really hinders us, it really hinders us to understand things like this and be able to practice these types of things, understanding how colors really play important parts in what we and how we live, basically, and how connected we are with plants. It's just crazy. So let me go through this. I'm going to be talking about some things, or I'm going to be using some words that might not be familiar, or they might be familiar to you, but you might not understand or know what they mean. I had to look things up myself. I'm not a nutritionist, but most of this information you will learn if you go through a traditional Western nutrition program. But that's what we're about on Herbal Intellect. We're trying to give you the tools so you can learn more yourself and just be a little bit more enlightened. So I'll do my best to explain this to you. All right, so first, basically, she talks about how we should not separate foods from herbs. And I know I'm guilty of that, calling this show Herbal Intellect and only talking about herbs. But foods and herbs basically they're basically the same. They're coming from plants. You can get fruits from plants. You can get roots from plants. Calling a root from a plant an herb versus the fruit not a herb doesn't make sense. So basically everything is a plant. Okay. She also talks about a term called organoleptics. Now, organoleptics means that we're basically using our senses to understand the phytochemical constituents in foods and in herbs. Foods, I would say plants, basically. So we're using our senses to understand what constituents are found in foods, plants. We can identify things with smell, with taste, with sight, and then we become familiar with that plant, of course, by looking at it. You see a dandelion growing, and we will talk about dandelion. You'll see it growing, that's dandelion, or at least you have a recognition of what type of plant that is. It's yellow, it's a flower, it has little white seeds to it that blow in the wind, things like that, and you're able to smell it, to touch it. It's very soft and velvety, things like that. That's what organoleptic is. And this also tells you what concentration of these phytochemicals are in that plant. And it's directly related to the quality of that plant. So when you're out there purchasing herbs, which we'll talk about in my workshop tomorrow, you'll be able to see different herbs and see how bright colored they are or how dull they are, how they smell. Like I said before, with